is the HomeTech Podcast for Friday, April 19th from Sarasota, Florida. I'm Seth Johnson.
From Reynoldsburg, Ohio, I'm TJ Huddleston.
And from Pickering, Ontario, I'm Gavin Campbell.
And welcome to the HomeTech Podcast all about home automation, home technology, stickers.
Ooh.
Got your attention now, don't I?
I like stickers.
We had an idea. I listened to another podcast and they do this, and I thought it was a good idea. And TJ did as well, because TJ loves stickers, evidently. I didn't know how much he loves stickers. He loves stickers so much, he stole all the stickers that we had at the, HomeTech?
I don't know if I'd say stole them. You know, you kind of handed them to me and I just never gave them back. That's not stealing.
It was a busy night, so I really can't say. Like,
very, very busy, in other words. But yeah, I have all the stickers. I'd love to send them out because they're just going to get lost in the shuffle of all my stickers. And so, I mean, if you're listening, you should send us your address and I'll send you a sticker.
Yeah. So feedback at HomeTech.fm. Just email us an address anywhere in the world, I guess, right? Because it just takes a stamp on an envelope.
I mean, I don't know how foreign mail works. How do I send stuff to Gavin? I mean, I just put it in there and see, my problem with sending it outside of the United States is people always have like weird addresses. Like I might be sending something to somebody in Sweden and they send me their address and I was like, this doesn't even look like an address to me. I don't know what you're talking about.
Just copy and paste it.
I have to write these.
And no, as long as you have, as long as you have their name on it, the postman knows them personally. They'll be like, This is his. Yeah, all right, let's drop it there.
These are smaller countries, TJ. I mean, they have all personal relationships with their postmen. Everybody knows everybody. have you seen an address in the UK? It's just like,
oh yeah,
random symbols that they like OH5 and then a space and then A12. Like, you're supposed to know where that is? I don't know.
No.
But that's probably where somebody lives.
I mailed something to somebody in the Caribbean once and all I had to put was their name in the street.
Yeah.
The mailman knew who it went to. It made it there eventually,
I went to the UPS store. This is many months ago now, probably even last year at this point. And walk into this UPS store to drop off some Amazon returns or something. And the guy behind the counter is shaking his head. And so I had to ask him, I was like, rough day, right? And he goes, somebody just tried to bring in a package. And they just told me the person's name and the country they lived in, somewhere in like Africa or something. And they said, yeah, just send it out like that. And he was like, I can't send it out like that. I need an address. And they're like, no, like you could just send it to the country and they'll figure it out. And he like had to explain to them, like, no, that's not how that works. You have to have the area it's going to and everything, but they just did not understand for some reason. Like, no, I know who they are. They'll be able to find them.
Yeah. I'll let him know it's going to be there.
Right.
He'll be looking for it every day. You have a package for me?
Just don't send me any in Canada. The duties and custom taxes and all that stuff just adds up to too much.
Mm-hmm. Our sticker.
Yeah. It becomes more than the worth of the sticker, please.
We were looking at our stats the other day, and evidently there's a country called Jersey that none of us had known about, like where that is. But it's off the coast of France, turns out, and there's like 100,000 people there, which isn't very big, but there are 5 listeners in Jersey, supposedly.
Ooh.
So I was like hoping maybe one day they'll be listening to this show and hear us talking about them and be like, hey, let's all get together and get those 5 stickers that we're owed here in Jersey. That'd be cool.
We also have 2 listeners in Jamaica, which I think is kind of cool.
I'll deliver those.
Gavin, I think you're slacking a little bit. Canada's pretty good, but Jamaica too? That's not cool.
Gotta get those numbers up.
All right, I'll call some family.
Yeah, we should have higher numbers in Jamaica. Oh man, yeah. If you would like a sticker, we've got some. We'll make more. But feedback at HomeTech.fm. Just send your address there. Put it in the subject line, put stickers, and then
slap it on the back of a $20 bill and mail it right to my house.
Yeah, return it. All right. Well, we got some big news this week, and just a couple of things. We were kind of recording. We recorded late in the week last week, and then early in the week this week. So there's not too much news that's happened, but there are a couple of big stories. So what do you say we jump into these HomeTech headlines?
Let's do it.
All right. I know everybody's here for the Resideo news. I know everybody talked about this or heard about this earlier in the week, but this is the big news. Resideo Technologies launched its first alert VX5 indoor camera with AI event detection, privacy mode, and flexible installation options, ISC West 2024. This thing is a 2 megapixel this isn't the news that everybody was talking about, right?
Wait, I was gonna say this is a little different, I think.
Oh, yeah. Maybe I should try again. So I guess, yeah, Resideo, a $6.5 billion company that no one's probably ever heard of, bought Snap One, another billion-dollar company no one's ever heard of, for $1.4 billion. Big news in the custom insulation industry because Resideo has been around for a while. They own a massive worldwide distribution company for custom electronics and security. And I guess Pro AV too. They do all sorts of stuff.
Commercial AV, all that good stuff.
Yeah, 195 locations out there, tons of warehouses. I mean,
and they all suck. Sorry.
Yeah, well, maybe they'll get better. Who knows? Snap AV had somewhere in the neighborhood like 40 locations. I think they've had 2 warehouses here in the States, and I'm not sure overseas. I know they have some like in the EMEA markets and that kind of thing. So it's kind of huge news, huge business news. I mean, an acquisition of this size doesn't come along very often, but looks like Resideo will pay. Is it Resideo?
I always say Resideo, but that might be incorrect. So
residual. So Resideo will pay $10.75 a share for Snap One, and it's a 32% premium over where it, I guess, was previously riding around, I don't know, $7 or $8 or something like that. So not a bad deal if you owned 72% of the shares, like what was it, H&F? I guess, yeah, Hellman and Friedman LLC. They own 72% of Snap One's outstanding common shares and approved that merger fairly quickly because they're going to get a payday. Good for people, I guess. This isn't good for anybody who works at Snap EV or possibly ADI.
Yeah, you're definitely on the chopping block now.
Yeah. I would suspect in the next couple of months, we'll start seeing some layoffs, branch closures. Why would there need to be 2 of these, warehouse locations in the same city? They're definitely going to close down a location or 2 and consolidate or let go of employees that way. Not good for anybody who works at any one of these companies. Good for the money people. They're making out a lot of money. I don't know. TJ, you have more experience with ADI. I don't think I've bought ever in my entire 15 years has ever bought anything from ADI. And primarily it was because everybody I worked for said the same thing that you just mentioned about ADI. And I was like, yeah, that's the feeling that I got. But what do you think about this?
Yeah, I think this is interesting. If we had a government that actually cared about regulations and stopping this kind of stuff, this would not happen. But this is going to happen. Nobody knows what the custom AV space is. And I mean, our politicians can't even figure out TikTok. So they're not going to be able to figure out this. Yeah. Oh my God. That still hurts. But something like this, I don't think should be allowed to happen because they're like 2 of the largest companies in the space right now. And especially with what ADI already owns, or I guess Resideo already owns, I think that's a problem. I feel like this is a quick turnaround for Hellman and Friedman, though. I mean, they just bought it in 2017. They bought Snap AV. They changed it to Snap One, and then they bought Control 4. And so, I mean, they definitely got their money out of it. I can't find any proof of how much they actually paid for Snap AV originally. But we know that they paid roughly $700 million for Control 4. I don't know if we have an exact number on that. And so I don't know. It feels like a weird valuation for Snap AV. The only way they got that valuation is because of Control 4. I don't think the actual like warehouse and distribution of Snap AV is worth that much in the grand scheme of things. But this is obviously only going to help ADI in the long run. That said, I mean, ADI stores, I think, are some of the worst places to go to because it seems like they don't pay their people enough and you always wait forever. I'm going to go to ADI...
That's what somebody said in one of the Facebook comments I was reading. They called it almost died... almost died... Oh, I'm going to have to find the quote on that. Almost died... waiting on tech support or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, and it's so true. It's like every time I go there, I have to dedicate like 30 to 60 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know, it's awful. Like, it's like a whole thing. They have to look up your account. They have to like talk to you for a second. And then they have to like wait for their printer to print off something after like 30 minutes. And it's not a good experience. And so I only go there if I absolutely have to, because there's not a lot of places with physical stores that I can buy like hardwired door contacts or motion sensors and stuff like that. And so that's the reason that I use them. So not because I have to, but because I need to. And I feel like that's kind of the marketplace that Snap AV fits in a way. And so I think that's a perfect matchup for them.
Gavin, how many times have you gone to a wholesale distribution? You probably do have an ADI branch nearby. I bet you do.
Yeah, you probably do.
Probably. But this news shocked me really. It hit me really hard, like I just did not know what to say. I did not know how to react to this. I'm still have no clue what to say.
All right, so I don't know anything about Canada, Gavin, but there is one in Scarborough.
Oh, yeah, that's right around the corner from me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, see? You didn't even know.
I didn't even know. I'm just going to go there to say, hey,
you can use my name and you just buy something.
I'll just be, well, I don't have that much time to stand in line though, right?
Yeah.
Because once you mentioned we had to wait for something to print, I'm like, wow, they're probably having printer problems at that point, right?
The distributor I buy stuff from now, they're like, oh, do you want your receipt? I'm like, no, you'll email it to me. They're like, you're right. And then I walk out the door. The ADI is like, nope, take this physical receipt that you have to wait for it to print.
This is a Facebook commenter. I'll just name him as Jack. I'm not going to name his last name. He says, my alias for ADI is almost died inquiring. Seems like every time I place an order with them, I have to call back 10 times to find out when the F I'm going to get it. This takeover doesn't make me very happy. I think from a business side of business people talking to business people, it's probably a really good merger and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
It's great for all the people making money.
Well, it's definitely good for the private equity firm.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, they're making money.
If there's no competition, who else are you going to go to?
Well, I work for one place you could go to, but
Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon is the other place.
Oh, yeah, Blackwire. That's what I meant.
Yeah, but if you want to support a local distributor, you can. There's plenty of those. There's still a couple of smaller distributors that are out there.
Davis Distribution. I love you guys. You guys are great.
Davis is out there. I ran across Max Alarm or something like that the other day. They've got a bunch of branches around Max something. And there's a lot of like regional things. Here in Sarasota, we have a place called Silmar. They had a couple of branches around Florida, I want to say, maybe up into like the southeast. Everything's very still very like regional, I guess, and when it comes to distribution. Mm-hmm. And so you'll see like one or two shops pop up and they'll kind of like buy each other out and expand around. But there's not very many like national level distributors out there. So there's only a couple. We're one, but there's only a couple. Like, I think Davis is like primarily Northeast, right? Like it's not.
Yeah.
I don't think they have.
Well, that's the problem with distributors, right? Is that there's not a lot of distributors that take up the entire United States. It's all region based. And so like that's kind of where like ADI and Snap AV kind of excel, is because no matter where you go, you can get them at least. And not necessarily the physical store, but you don't have to worry about like where you're at and shipping and everything like that. So.
Right.
When I went to our friend Adam's house, I drove to the ADI store to pick up something we needed last second, and so that part was nice.
Yeah, it's definitely an advantage that like so we only have one location for a warehouse, and it is a disadvantage. Like we do like free shipping things still, like and rebates on products just to get the stuff out. Like, but our thing is like we do ship everything that we have. We have most everything on the website in stock, so like we will ship it the same day. And the fact that it's like in Arizona, meaning like if you're on the East Coast, you can still buy it later in the day, and they're on some weird time thing zone there. And it's like, it's always messed up. It's like, they're calling me at like 7:00. I'm trying to sit down and eat dinner. I'm like, what are you guys doing? It's like, it's only 2:00 here. I don't even know what time it is over there, but like they work weird hours in Arizona, because they refuse to do the daylight savings time. But the thing is like a lot of manufacturers are still set up for that weird regional thing where like there have been manufacturers we talked to and are like, we're a national distributor. And the manufacturer's like, well, we got one sales guy that works the East Coast and one sales guy that works the West Coast. And they don't like talking to each other. So we're not going to get, you can't carry our line because you got to get those two guys to talk to each other. It's really weird. I think it's a little bit of the manufacturing side of things and the distribution side of things that kind of where that falls out. Now there's less places to buy stuff from. So yay. I'm going to link to a story over at Strategy. He kind of runs through a bunch of things. One of the things he did call out is like both of these companies have had a fairly flat, stagnant year in 2023. Both Resideo, which I've seen it spelled so many different ways.
As I say, especially in this article, it's spelled a couple different ways.
Yeah, you can put the I, the E, the O, wherever you want. Doesn't matter. Had a stagnant growth in 2023. Their 10K said they had $6.24 billion. They were off by 2% compared to revenues in 2022. Net income came in at $210 million, which is down 25% compared to the year before. And then Snap One talked about their net sales of $1.06 billion were down 5%, and sales of $1.12 billion of the previous year. They had a net loss of $21 million. So not doing great over there. As noted, I guess he also wrote in this report here, Snap One has lost money every year for the last 5 years. Perfect timing, Resideo. Gonna pump that stock. The private equity is still in play too, because Resideo came up with I think I saw that they pulled $300 million. Sorry, that's a lot of money.
That's not that much.
It's just a difference. Yeah, they pulled $300 million out of the cash drawer, plopped it on the table, and then they got a loan for basically the rest, like over $500 million.
We need a loan for.
Yeah, well, it's an investment when it's that big, I guess.
Sounds like Resideo's broke.
There will be a combined 240 warehouses in the U.S. alone. SnapAV has an existing 45 current locations, which as we said before, it's probably going to be a lot of layoffs on that one. And then we'll definitely link over to this article by Ted over strategy, because he has some fun write-ups. But he says, what to watch for. At Resideo and ADI have had, at best, very little success in custom integration, and that's being generous. I love this guy. The company's main strength remains in commercial security and security-related business segments, and whether they can somehow solve Snap One's lingering stagnation issues and help right it ignites its growth, and perhaps even achieve net profitability remains to be seen. So a challenging time ahead, it seems, for ADI by this purchase, but I was seeing like some of their synergies, things that they wanted to do. They were like, oh, well, we do well in commercial and security, and we really need like a residential play. So, it makes sense that we buy this company that does mostly residential stuff.
Yeah, well, like that does kind of make sense in a way, but
that's a lot of brands that go over there too. I don't think Snap One, I'm just going to say this. I don't think Snap One is going to exist anymore. I think that brand like makes it another year and it's gone. But all their little like internal brands like Wattbox, Oversea, Arachnus Network, I think all that stuff has some staying power, and they could just say, oh, those are ADI brands now. So you'd be like, Triad by ADI, Oh yeah, by the way, they're assuring people that Triad is going to remain exclusive, as well as Control 4. So, and Ted writes on here, this is Rule 101 from the acquisition playbook. Tell everyone nothing is going to change.
That's right.
So yeah, that's good. Wall Street evidently didn't think very much of this. I saw Resideo stock closed down as well. It's been going down. It's around $20 now. So 3-4%, I think, in that area. Interesting times. It, to me, still means that the market is shrinking and getting smaller and smaller. And this is kind of a fallout from that. And if there's only one major player at this point, as far as distribution goes. I don't think there's anybody as big as this.
No.
But there's still some big players. NICE is still a big global company, right? And they have a lot of the same kind of brands and things that are going on that ADI has. They don't have the distribution wing of it, right? But it's still like another very large global, I don't want to say distribution, but global brand that has a ton of products that are the same as what ADI now has in-house. So like they have a control system. ADI Resideo will have Control 4. Elon is over on the NICE side. It'll be interesting to see what those two bigger companies do. I don't think NICE is as big as Resideo. Definitely not a $6 billion company.
No, definitely not.
But as far as like employees go, Resideo 13,000 last I looked. They're going to add on 13,000 employees worldwide. I think NICE, the one I think I ran across, I'm stretching my brain, I think it's like 2,500. So still a decent sized company. Will be interesting to see how those two butt heads, especially with all the dealers kind of being upset about this and looking for other places to play. Are you gonna change where you buy because of this? Your buying habits, TJ?
No. Just gonna keep buying from Davis. I like them. So,
You could buy from Blackwire too. We do offer things, but we're not as close. I get it. So
I've never heard of them. So
yeah, well.
yeah. I feel like the only reason I buy from Davis as much as I do now is because I can drive to them.
Oh yeah,
I mean, that's a big selling point. I mean, I can get everything shipped, but it's nice to just be able to go pick things up.
Yep, just in time delivery.
Yeah, and Davis actually even offers delivery. They'll bring stuff to me on a job site or my warehouse.
Yeah, it's a big advantage. I looked into like doing some of that weird, like little weird things, like having little small warehouse things where we could stock product at strategic locations and have like, we do this now. We have a place in the back. Like if you order something, our ordering system will send you a code and there's a table back there with it on there. And you just walk in and beep, boop, 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 boop. It opens up and you get in. So, but that's only one location. That's the big news there. There's other big news, and this is only big because of the size. Samsung has introduced a new addition to its ultra-large lineup with a 98-inch Samsung Crystal 4K UHD TV. It caters to the growing demand for bigger screens in the market. And the TV features a supersized picture enhancer, optimize the image quality because you're going to need it. It's got 4K upsampling. Probably should have gone with 8 on it, but oh well. A bunch of other things and up to 120 hertz refresh rate for enhanced gaming experiences. What I did like or thought was interesting about this, not really care about the like, but like what I did see on this that piqued my interest was the price tag, which is retail at $4,000.
It's not bad.
And I can remember a time when a 98-inch TV was going to cost you maybe over $100,000. Like this has really come down quite a bit.
I mean, I think just last year, the Samsung, one of the Samsung 98-inch TVs was $10,000. And I know this because I go to Micro Center all the time, which is in Columbus. And they had one for $10,000. It's still in the exact same spot, but now you can get it for about $4,000 or $5,000.
Wow.
So they've come down in price drastically. And especially with the cheaper competition like the TCLs and stuff like that, you can get a TCL 98-inch TV for about $2,000, I think. So, I mean, it's crazy how fast they've gone down.
That's a big TV. I don't even think I have a wall that would support it.
No, definitely not. What is Crystal UHD, though? Why do we got to keep coming up with these silly things? It's just a 4K TV. Stop it. Crystal UHD.
It's crystal clear.
That's right.
Yeah, we're gonna. You know what? I think we're gonna reach a point where the TVs are gonna be so big, we're gonna have to start worrying about whether or not we can fit them into the house down the basement. I don't even know if I could get the 90-inch down the basement, turning that corner. Hopefully they start splitting these TVs up so you can put them into little panels and then
a little video wall.
Yeah, take half the TV downstairs and then take the other half and you clip them together and there you go.
Genius. Come on, LG.
I when you're like, what is the crystal thing? I was like, well, maybe they just name it after like random strippers. And I was like, well, like what would some stripper TV names be besides Crystal? And like they actually would line up with TV marketing. Like,
oh, what else?
You've got a Samsung Diamond Lust 4K. There you go. I just went to the random stripper name generator here and there you go. And then you've got the Samsung Shadow Obsidian. There you go.
That's
and
the stripper name?
I don't know. It's random. And then the Samsung Venus Sinclair 4K UHD TV or HDR TV. So there you go. There's 3 new Samsung model names. I can generate more. This is what AI does for you. Oh, the Scarlet Temptation, the Ruby Rapture. There we go. All right.
Like Samsung's already doing this.
I think they go and they hit the button and they're like, oh yeah, we're going to do the Bella Vixen next year. There we go.
It's kind of funny that you brought that up because 45 most popular stripper names, Crystal's number 1.
There we go.
Boom.
There we go.
Good job, Samsung.
They did their research.
We know how we know where their marketing team hangs out. I'm waiting for the Samsung Chastity. That should be the biggest one there.
Well, yeah. What number is that on the list?
Number 16.
All right, there. Wow.
I'm surprised it beats out Bambi. Samsung Bambi.
That's an older one, though. That's an older one.
Yeah, that TV will die soon. So
it's a dated version. Well, all the links and topics we discussed tonight can be found over in our show notes at HomeTech.fm/478.
Are you going to include the stripper name link? I'm just curious from now.
I mean, sure. If you want to do your research on what the new TVs are going to be cost, it'll be there.
Those are going to be weird solicitation emails we get in the feedback.
When you ask for stickers, include your stripper name.
Don't include any pictures, though. No pictures.
Nothing in the mailbag this week. We do have a pick of the week, and I listened to this today. I saw some things going on in the I was listening to a podcast today while I was working and trying to get some stuff done, and Owen's podcast was playing there in the background. I was kind of listening along, and then I saw some people talking about it in the hub. And I was like, I probably should listen to this a little bit better. And I basically just went back to the beginning and then hit like play on it again. And just listen to the whole thing. And it's really good. This is the Home Cinema Design Podcast. We'll put a link to it in the show notes. And this episode in particular called Tom's Takeover. It's two gentlemen in the UK. We'll call them, what do they call them over there? Mates, blokes, something. I don't know. I probably just insulted them both. And then
Wanker, I think.
They're talking shop. They're doing like, they're talking about a project that Tom did and like went into a theater that wasn't working correctly, and what all he had to do basically to fix and correct audio problems, audio issues, speaker design choices, all sorts of stuff that went into what sounded like a very expensive room. And you know, when you go and change something like that, I mean, he went down to like ripping walls out and shaving. Yeah. I mean, it's an expensive proposition, and there's still more money that this customer might spend to make it better. It's a really interesting listen to. And, I thoroughly enjoyed it. So I highly recommend it. Don't listen to it around kids because, it uses some of the extended English, the Queen's English, I guess is what they call it. And, there may be some explicit, what we would consider explicit here in the Puritan colonies, language. But it's thoroughly enjoyable. So go check that out.
Yeah, we never say anything bad on this podcast. So we definitely have to warn you before you listen to that one. No, I have not given this a listen yet. I need to, I'll put it on the rotation for tomorrow. So a good shout out there, Seth.
It's always it's a good one. We got to get Owen on the podcast one of these days. The hours don't quite line up with when we actually start recording here, but
yeah, well, that is trouble.
As long as we get him to sign something so he doesn't use his colorful language.
Oh, well, we can bleep him. We have the technology here. That's one of the things we worked on when we did like the Magna Carta thing or something, declaration.
It's a lot of extra editing for you though. You know.
We hold these truths to be self-evident that you should edit podcasts. And yeah, here we are today. Anyway, if you have any feedback, questions, comments, picks of the week, great ideas for the show, give us a shout. Our email address is feedback@HomeTech.fm, or you can visit HomeTech.fm/feedback and fill out the online form. All right, project updates. I have a project update that I did, and I don't remember what it was, and I thought it was fairly important. I don't even remember what it was related to. And I thought there would be something on my desk or some random detritus laying on the floor that showed evidence of me actually doing work. And I got nothing. Oh, I think it was, I did work on Clippy. I noticed that little guy was sitting over in his little concrete bunker thing. And he wasn't charging. And one of his he's got like these two, I would call them teeth. Let's just say he has a mouth, and when he goes to charge, he has to, his little teeth have to touch onto these two things, basically. And one of the teeth didn't have the spring to push it back up. It's kind of broken off over time. So Clippy had some charging issues. You can kind of wedge him in there and get him to charge. But I took him apart and brushed his teeth. I cleaned all that out with a brush. And then I saw that the one spring was broken and there was really no way to fix it. So I tried to, I took the spring off and tried to measure and try to find another spring that I could use. I don't know. Springs are actually hard to find. There's a lot of measurements that go into figuring out what kind of spring you need. So hopefully I ordered something off Amazon. Hopefully it'll come in and I can make it work. But I think that's my only... Well, there's definitely something else I did. I promise. I really did. I was like, oh, this is going to be great for the show if I talk about it. And
you forgot.
Doesn't exist.
I would like to welcome you to old age.
No, this is my permanent state.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. My head is not, people are like, oh, I got the COVID fog. I'm like, that's every day of my life. It has been.
That's been my whole life.
Yeah.
That's what I tell my wife. I just use the COVID fog as an excuse. Did you put out the trash? Oh, I knew I had to do something. COVID fog, Did you cook the dinner? Oh, COVID fog. fog. It's my birthday today. Oh, COVID fog. I've been using that a lot.
All of these examples, I mean, geez, Gavin.
They're legit. I think ahead. Yeah, I think ahead. Trust me. When they first mentioned COVID fog, I found use cases for it. I was like, yes, save that one up. And it's one of those things you can use over and over again. You don't have to have a list of, excuses and, cross them off as you use them. No, COVID fog is a reusable one.
It's a medical condition.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like grandparents, you can only use a couple times. So you definitely need something
if she
more resilient.
She'll say something. I'll say, COVID fog. She'll say, you used that one already. I go, oh, COVID fog. Maybe forgot I already used that. See, it works in many ways.
You must get hit a lot.
Yeah, I do. But good thing she's a small lady.
Well, that CTE is real, so, all those concussions you get, it adds up too. So you're just like, oh, the concussions and the COVID fog. Stop hitting me.
Yeah, stop hitting me. Yeah. Oh, I'm going to add that to my list now.
It's writing it down.
Yeah. Concussions.
The brain damage. All right. Well, it looks like you guys were much more productive in what you were doing, especially TJ. Go TJ. But Gavin, what have you been up to?
We finally got some good weather, so I installed my other Z-Wave lights. So yeah, all my lights in the backyard are now Z-Wave associations, on and on, instant, reliable, no reliance on Wi-Fi or anything like that. But this week I noticed a whole bunch of updates showing up in Home Assistant. Not the usual updates, but these were Zoo's device updates. They started rolling out like updates to Zoo's products in Home Assistant. So, if you're going to be updating your wireless products, I'm just going to give you a warning. It's going to drain batteries. Just be prepared for that, because while, you click update, you don't have to actually go to every device and wake it up. You could just click update on like 10 of them. And as they wake up, it will start updating them. But it keeps that device awake through the whole update. So it's going to drain that battery. You may have a device that was 25%. Well, it's going to be at 0% before it probably even finishes. So, I mean, just keep that in mind. And the further away it is from your hub, it's probably going to drain it even more, because the update actually goes slower. So it keeps it awake longer. So it's nice to have that little update in there, but man, the battery, just be prepared.
Yeah, there is a home assistant update for me too. And I guess this is the 2024.4 version. Looks like it's got a bunch of stuff for grouping automations, which so would group the one I have into one group, and it would be lonely in that group.
Update. Welcome to this month, Seth.
It's going.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, I know what it was. I fixed the Home Assistant thing. I figured out where the logs were, and I figured out, I basically figured out the little button thing that I was complaining about. Did not have something set up correctly inside of it. I'm not sure what happened, but the co-lot Shelly protocol or something like that, where it was going to send the command to, I think the Home Assistant integration sets that up initially, kind of using their API or whatever. And for whatever reason, it kind of got wiped. I think I might have done it by integrating Shelly with maybe, the what's it called, the HomeKit thing, and then again maybe with Control 4. It may have changed the setting on that. So I fixed it by putting the right IP address back in and the right port, hit save, reboot, and magically the little found the logs in where you could hit the button and then it would tell you that the event happened. Really cool. Good job, Home Assistant, on making thorough logs available for developers. That's awesome. And as soon as I saw that coming through, I'm like, my button's going to work. And yeah, now my button works.
You are so proud of that, aren't you?
I mean, it was fun. I had to go digging and find where the logging stuff was actually. Like, got to find it. It's not where you think it's going to be. It's in the developer tab over there, and you kind of have to like know your way around to find it. But I did find it, and I did kind of figure out like, okay, what I couldn't tell was that the button wasn't communicating with Home Assistant. There was no indication that when I pressed the button, no signal was getting in. Yeah. I could test everything else because you can hit play on the automation thing and it works, right? But there was no way for me to what I couldn't figure out by looking at the device was see like, okay, is this coming in? Is it just getting missed? What's happening? And I finally found that log thing, was able to turn it on. It was like some kind of event thing, fire dot event or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, when that came in, or when I saw it coming in, I was like, okay, this is fixed. And sure enough, it works.
Is there a Shelly integration? Because they have integrations, they have devices, right? So sometimes with a device, you see in the integration doesn't load properly, and that's how you could tell it's not working, like IP address and stuff like that, right? I don't know if Shelly had an integration.
It's official. There's an official one with like it comes up as a device that it finds.
Settings under integrations. So settings, devices and services, and you would see it under the integration section.
Mine's doing.
Okay, yeah, that's just when I see stuff like that happen, and it's because of an IP address. Usually, the integration has an error, like when you reboot or something like that. You'll see the integration with an error on it, and that's like a sign of, hey, I wasn't able to connect to this IP, the device for whatever reason.
Here's another thing about this button thing: it doesn't live on the network until it needs to, right? I mean, you can plug it in and it'll be there, but it's really not one of those devices that's always online.
Oh,
That would make sense if it was plugged in, right? But here, there's no expectation that button's going to do anything other than just like be asleep and then wake up, send a command in or an update, and then go back to sleep. There's no real.
That's a good idea for battery life.
Yeah, it lasts forever, and it's a little rechargeable battery in there. But it was just me finding the debug section and the logs and like how you can see live stuff come in. I'm thinking like I'm going to need a network cipher or something like set up between here and there, do a proxy. And no,
overcomplicating a problem.
Yeah. I basically, what I ended up doing was reading the directions to the Shelly, the Shelly thing and seeing what it did, like physically changed on the device itself. And I was like, oh, okay, let me go find this Colot thing that they have it's their own, like, I forget what it's called, like a JSON based protocol that they adopted a few years back. I think they've changed to something else now, but for this particular device, it used that, and it was missing the IP address in there. It was set to like a multicast or unicast. I don't remember. Obviously, that wasn't working well, so switched it over just to communicate right back to the Home Assistant, and the thing took it from there. So can't complain. Once everything got set up, it was a little frustrating for a while not to have my button, but now I got my button and I'm happy. Actually, I'm not happy. Because the catcher light bulb that I was using that's not connected to a hub or anything decided it was going to turn really, really, really yellow, like comically yellow, not even like a warm yellow, like literal yellow, like just Big Bird yellow. And so now when I turn the light on, the room turns Big Bird yellow, and I've got to go dig up the catcher hub and see if I can reset the light. Or just replace the light bulb. I could do that too, but
put a piece of tape over it. It's fine.
Which would you do? It's easy to go like replace a light bulb, but I could just find the hub and then reprogram it or get it updated or whatever.
Why not make it a bigger project? That's my motto with house projects as well. It's like, why wouldn't I make this into a bigger project?
I mean, I could have written the integration to talk directly to the Ketra hub that I have, but oh well. I'm not going to go there. We're still using the Wemo switch. Sorry, Robert.
Even I want to hit you for that. Friends don't let friends Wemo.
I know. And what's funny is like literally sitting on the table next to it is a replacement Shelly plug thing. I got plenty of them. I just got to go around replacing the things. I'll get to it. And what's good is when you plug those in, Home Assistant finds them, snaps them right in. I could just put my integration over to that. Boom. No change. Everything will work. So far, happy. Home Assistant's back.
It always comes back.
TJ, looks like you've been pretty busy. What have you been up to?
Yeah, I got a couple projects going on. We're looking for a contractor to build us a pantry. So we have a nice kitchen with a bunch of cabinets, and looking to have somebody else build the pantry because I don't want to do it for the next 4 months. It took us like 4 months just to extend our closet. I'm not trying to have that for our kitchen. But the whole process of finding a contractor is just awful. Have either one of you tried to find somebody to work on the house recently?
So I know recently is not a good thing. I know my neighbors have, and it was just like they wanted to move a toilet in their bathroom, and one guy was like, "Yeah, that's gonna be $35,000," and she's like,
"Oh, perfect.
Maybe I'll get a second opinion." Well, she couldn't because
nobody else would come out.
She eventually did find someone who was like, "Yeah, that's ridiculous. We'll do it for like 16 or something. It was a little bit of a bathroom remodel, but still, like, there's some digging and some concrete stuff. There's labor involved in it.
Right. Yeah. And you're all foundation down there too. So
Yeah. So she's like, there's nothing under the house. It's like, you got to bust up layers of concrete and get it out. But anyway, like, her thing was with this guy was like, I'm not in any hurry. I just want somebody to come do it. And, I think these days, what the secret is you just have to know somebody. Like, you have to be a friend. You have to know somebody. You have to offer beer.
Yes.
It has to be part of the payment, not, all of it necessarily, but you have to know somebody. And there's really no way that you're going to get anything done unless that's the case. And you guys can like get together on the weekend and just power through and get it done.
Honestly, what I thought about doing is I've called dozens of contractors. I think I have maybe 3 or 4 coming out this Friday. What I thought about doing is just walking around Home Depot and just acting like I'm confused about like piping and stuff like that, and try to find some lonely older father that his kids don't talk to him anymore. And I'll just be like, hey, I'm looking at this pipe here and I don't know what's going on. And then the conversation will just lead into building a pantry.
It's like, why do you need pipes for your pantry? That's what my this guy's really lost.
And then he'll be like, yeah, he needs help. So he'll come over, just build the pantry. We'll have some beer, share some pizza or steak. I don't know. And then, we'll part ways. So that's how bad it's gotten. I'm considering crazy alternatives like that because whoever's at Home Depot isn't going to know what they're doing. So yeah, I got that going on. I've been working on this fun thing, motion activated Sonos. And so I kind of got the idea the other day. And I was like, it'd be kind of cool instead of like opening my Sonos app or asking Sonos to group my speakers together. It just did it for me as I walked around the house. And so I've got that set up, guys. It works great. I need to figure out some weird things, which we'll get into. But right now, if the family room TV's on, the Sonos Arc, and I walk around to a room, the motion sensor will pick me up and it'll turn the speaker on and group it with the family room. And it works great the majority of the time. There's once in a while where it doesn't register or it's slow. But most of the time it's so quick. Like as soon as I even put up like part of my body in the room, it's already grouped and it's already playing. And so like that part is really cool. The issue I have though is that if I want to disable that, because like let's say we have Sonos in every room, and I'm gonna go take a shower and I'm gonna listen to a podcast or something, but Nicole's watching TV, the Sonos will obviously always activate on motion and group with the family room TV. And so I've got I'm working on my button system right now, but I have Lutron Pico audio remotes everywhere, and if you like hit the bottom button, it'll disable the Sonos motion automation for like 30 minutes or something. So like that's a good workaround, but it's not the best. So I got to figure out something with that. So if anybody's got suggestions on that, or if you've done something similar, I'm interested to hear what you've done.
It's the old Bill Gates house. So let's call Bill Gates and let him know. He'll give you a call and tell you.
Yeah.
That was all the rumor that you would walk around the house and the music would follow you or whatever.
It's like such a really cool feature because, it's one of those things that like, that's the reason I have Sonos is because as I walk around, I could just hear everything. And now I don't even have to think about it for the most part. My problem though is, so I love Sonos. We all know this. I'm waiting on the Sonos headphones, Patrick Spence, if you're listening to this. But my problem with Sonos now is that, traditionally it was very easy to troubleshoot, right? Because Sonos for the longest time, until 2 years ago or something, used Sonos Net. And you hardwired one of the speakers, it created Sonos Net, which is their own little wireless network. And then you use their little network matrix to troubleshoot things that Sonos didn't really tell you about, but other people knew about.
Yeah.
And you troubleshooted it, and that was it. That it worked pretty well as long as you hardwired one device or you got their bridge or boost or whatever they called it at the time. My problem now, though, is that the new speakers do not use Sonos Net. They just use your Wi-Fi.
How does that can't be legal?
It's so aggravating because now they're not part of the network matrix. And the only 2 rooms of audio that I have trouble with right now are new speakers. I bought a Sonos Era 300 last week to try out. And I have a stereo pair of Sonos Era 100s. And those are the two rooms that are consistently dropping out. And I've tried changing the Sonos channel, network channel, and I've tried playing with my Ubiquiti access points and all this other stuff, and I just can't figure it out right now. And it also doesn't help I don't have a ton of time to dedicate to it, so it's just one of those things like I'm just trying to figure out, but they got rid of SonosNet, so I can't easily figure it out now.
Wow, I did not see that. And I guess, about a year ago when these were announced, Area 100, 300, Move, Roam, and Roam SL do not connect through SonosNet. They use your Wi-Fi or network.
And it's so silly.
Interesting.
So now the company that sucks at networking sucks even more because I can't troubleshoot it now with their stuff.
Well, the reason they did suck so much at networking is because the whatever hardware they were using did not support modern, STP forwarding or whatever, RSTP, which is what everything ships with these days. And you had to turn it off and go back to this old janky way of doing things because the Ethernet jack was I think it was a 10 megabit or 10100. It was super old. It didn't do gigabit. But if they include a better device or whatever the chip is and it's controlling the Ethernet and they can support more modern network conventions, that's probably why they're like, oh, we don't need SonosNet anymore because all the networks do the stuff that we were trying to do with SonosNet.
Yeah, well.
Kind of sucks that you can't troubleshoot easier though, because that matrix does come in handy. I opened mine up the other day and it was red things and I'm like,
yeah,
what the heck's all this red from? And I started looking around and I'm like, oh, it's interference. And I basically I think I just moved jiggled the channel around, as they say, moved it from somewhere and it all cleared up.
And then also we've had a good week or so of nice weather. And so we're starting to get the raised garden beds ready. They're all built, starting to fill them with random junk we have around the house, like sticks and grass and whatever else. That way I don't have to buy $500 worth of soil. And so I've started working on the automated watering system. I think I'm going to make this way more complicated than I need to as well. And I'm just going to go ahead and bury some PVC pipe from the back of the house to the garden and then also to the back of the house. And so I'm just going to rent a trencher, dig me a couple trenches from the house to the fence, put my water piping in, but also just run a couple other speaker wires and lighting wires and stuff like that too at the same time.
It's a good idea.
And so that way it's just done. And that way the automated watering should be easier and I don't have to step over hoses and whatever else. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and do that, but we haven't got that far yet. So
it's always a good idea to put I have a conduit that I was running some power underneath my driveway to go to the other side so I can have a plug to plug in Christmas lights and that kind of thing. I was like, I'm running one of these. I may as well buy double. And I ran another one and it's empty under there.
Mm-hmm.
And I still have the pull string still comes up and ties off on a box. I never capped it. So I'm sure it's full of water. But when I need to, I can just dig down there, blow it out and run my low voltage wire underneath. I'm actually probably going to have to do that fairly soon now that I'm kind of playing with these RGB lights. I want to get that brought over into that area.
Mm-hmm.
Right now it kind of runs inside the garage door and kind of outside the other and kind of, not really the best way to do things, I guess. It kind of pushes the little flap thing off the garage door a little bit and lets air in or out or whatever. Always good idea to put conduit, especially in the ground.
Yeah. Well, it's especially when I talk to clients and it's we're putting this gate at the end of our driveway and it's going to have power. And it's well, throw a conduit down there for data. Well, I don't really need any data. And it's well, you might want to do cameras or something at some point. So
yeah. Or even an intercom to the gate or a gate opener that you can integrate.
Literally anything. So many things.
KJ, I feel like you're going crazy with your projects. You're you rebuilt your entire house at this point.
I look forward to TJ's projects now.
I need to do, once I get some of the drywall fixed around the house, because right now it's kind of a patchwork of just janky drywall repairs everywhere. And I think once I get that fixed, I'm going to do an actual walkthrough of the house and the automation system. So by that time, I'll be dead. So the video won't happen, but.
So listeners, don't wait for it.
Yeah, don't wait. Get your stickers while you can.
I need to do a walkthrough of my house because it's kind of showing on its edges. I came out, I was the garage here a little bit ago, and my wife was like, the lights aren't working. I'm like, where? In the dining room. We're trying to have dinner. I'm like, oh, okay. So I went and looked at the wall and I tapped the button and the light came on. I'm like, see, that's all you have to do. And that did not go over well.
Oh, you have the magic power too. Yeah. Nicole's always asking me to do stuff because it's just whenever I touch it, it just works. So
yeah.
I think something happened. I'm pretty sure the Control 4 controller was rebooting. Who knows? I use it a lot for development, and I'm not saying that my code may not have a memory leak in whatever I was doing. So sometimes it needs to reboot. And I think maybe it was rebooting or doing something, because she said she couldn't even open the Control 4 app at that point. I'm like, oh, well, it just was offline. And that makes that particular keypad that she was touching not work. And they weren't happy because they were eating in the dark.
Get your cell phone light out. You're fine.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of other lights on. I do have a group of Shelly devices I have to combine and control somehow. I could probably do it in, I'm pretty sure you can do it in Home Assistant. I need 3 Shelly devices to act the exact same. I thought this was a feature built into Shelly. It is not. If it is, let me know. But I'm pretty sure these are the RGBW2, the little yellow devices. And I have 3 of them in the kitchen under each cabinet. I need them to turn on and turn off at the same time and match each other on whatever color thing they're doing. And that doesn't seem to be a feature that Shelly provides. They have a group feature that you can group things together, and it provides awful control within their own little web app thing. But I'm not looking for that. I want something better. So I will probably tinker with Home Assistant and see what they have to offer and figure out how to enable that control from a Control 4 keypad at some point too. So my wife can turn on and off the lights in the kitchen. Really, that's all she's asking. She just wants to turn the lights on and off in the kitchen. It's simple. Why can't you do this? I don't.
It's a simple task, Seth.
Yeah. Now that I have a Rube Goldberg house of Home Assistant, HomeKit, and Control 4, maybe I should just put it in HomeKit and call it a day.
You can do anything. Anything you set your mind to.
I don't know. Set up a home automation system. It'll be easy, they said. It'll make your life simple. Just run Home Assistant and then HomeKit.
Just run Home Assistant.
And Matter and get all these antennas that you haven't used. And at least my printer still works. That's all I can.
Oh, thanks. That little jab there.
Yeah, that's kind of messed up. Have you even got your new 3D printer yet?
No. I got notice that it should start shipping at the end of this month.
Holy cow.
Because I got everything, and one of the pieces wasn't yet finished, but they just started shipping it, and people that ordered it from last July started getting it. So I ordered mine in February, so I'm towards the end of the list. But they said by end of month, they sent out shipping notices to everybody. So by end of month, mine should be shipped. Looking forward to the multicolor 3D printing and stuff.
Ooh, is that the original Prusa XL?
No, it's the Prusa MK4.
Oh, I see.
With the MMU 3, so I get multicolor, printing. It's going to be nice.
Very nice, very nice.
Hopefully the wife doesn't get too mad at me for buying this.
Well, I think it's going to wrap up this week. We do want to give a big thank you to everyone who supports the show, but especially those who are able to financially support the show through our Patreon page. If you don't know about the Patreon page, head on over to HomeTech.fm/support to learn how you can support HomeTech for as little as $1 a month. Any pledge over $5 a month gets you a big shout out here on the show, but every single pledge will get you an invite to our Slack channel, The Hub. And then every address that you email us will get a sticker too. I mean, that doesn't even take a pledge, but
it doesn't even have to be your address. That could be somebody else's.
Yeah, this could be, Mother's Day is coming up. This is a perfect Mother's Day gift, right? If you want to help out the show but can't support financially, totally understand. Just appreciate a 5-star review or in iTunes or a positive rating in whatever podcast app you listen to the show on. That's going to wrap up another week here on HomeTech. Everybody have a great weekend, and we will see you next week.
Till next time.
Take care.